Hi there, my name is Alex Worthington. I'm the technical director of TheatreSquared. Let's take a look at the scene shop today. So a little bit about me. Like I said, my name is Alex. I'm originally from Texas, and the way I got into the business of technical direction is I started like many young students at the high school level. I was an actor, performed in musicals and that kind of thing. Went on to undergrad at the University of North Texas, where I continued to study acting, and it's a huge music school. So I also spent a lot of time writing music for plays, working on sound design, and I worked as a carpenter in the scene shop there. So after a couple of years of working professionally as an actor, but also maintaining my audio skills and carpentry skills as a freelancer, I just found myself doing more and more on the technical side, and it's just kind of where my passion ended up lying. After many years of being a freelance sound designer, I continued to work as a carpenter as well, and then found myself in a technical direction position. Um, I was fortunate enough to end up at the Yale School of Drama, where I could continue my education in a conservatory environment. And I'm just so happy to be here with TheatreSquared right now and continue my love for technical direction and loading and scenery. So what does a technical director do? Well, primarily my job is centered around the scene shop and loading and scenery and making sure our scenic designers get what they want out of their drawing packet. But it goes beyond that. I make sure that everybody's communicating along with my supervisor, the production manager or director of production. We make sure everybody is playing nice, getting the show in on time and under budget. But the majority of my job takes place in communicating with a scene shop, which is this facility right here, where we store a lot of hardware, a lot of tools, and it's our largest workspace in the facility as well. So these tools I've laid out here are some of the tools we use most often in the shop. And you'll notice that they're actually smaller and not stationary at all. So kind of going around the table here, this right here is what we call a track saw. It is a fancy circular saw that we can set up to ride on tracks to make extremely precise and clean cross cuts and rip cuts on our plywood materials. We have a drill, most people are familiar with that. An impact driver, which is very similar to a drill. It's just kind of straight torque as soon as you start driving a screw. We have a hammer, a dead blow mallet, a mallet. I have some glue out here because it's probably the most important product that we use when it comes to wood construction. One of my favorite tools is a portaband. We use this for extremely clean cuts on steel products. A brad nailer, or some people like to call it a pin nailer. It's a brad nailer, 18 gauge brad nailer. We use this for scenery when the audience is in close proximity to our scenic elements, so we can kind of hide the fasteners. And then a narrow crown stapler, which is what we use oftentimes for our Hollywood and Broadway flats, putting the glue onto our framing. This is a medium crown stapler. We can use this for platform construction. It's an extremely valuable tool. Here is a wide crown stapler. Instead of using corner blocks, we often just use wide crown staples. It cuts our fabrication time of Broadway flats in half. This is one of our most commonly used tools. This is a miter saw. It also has a slide option here. So a lot of shops will have what they call a radial arm saw, where it's just a saw that you pull back and forth that stays clear of this being your fence. This saw is what we usually refer to as a wood chop saw, but it can also do miters like this, and it has an option where you can do a bevel cut. We have some pipe storage right here. We also have what we call hogstrough, which is like a wooden angle iron. The hogstrough is actually supported on hogstrough. So this is the most useful shape in theater, I would say. Oftentimes backstage, if you need a quick shelf for something for props management, you'll throw some hogstrough up there. But there's a million uses that you can use hogstrough for. It is most definitely the most useful shape. Anytime you want to have a simple automation where backstage crew will push a wagon on stage, you can guide these wagons with a very simple hog trough setup. Underneath the miter saw is where we keep our plywood, our luan, and our masonite. Over here, you'll see we have some stock step units, which are great for any time we need to build escape stairs. And this 2x12x16 that we keep in this rack is what we would use for our cheeks or our stringers. Over here, we keep some molding profiles for all of our fancy scenery, and we even have some 2x4 hog trough right here. Another tool we use every day is our cabinet saw. This is our saw stop table saw, and the most critical thing that makes this very tool important and amazing is the blade itself is designed to where whenever it comes in contact with human skin, the blade drops immediately within a 60th of a second and slams into a break. Every time that happens, albeit not often, every time that happens, that's preventing somebody from losing a digit or a body part of some sort. And we're so thankful to have this tool. And this has benefited not only our theater, but several theaters around the country. Whenever a blade does drop, we add it to the wall of shame up above me. And honestly, I'm thankful there's only 5 blades up there. We try to keep most of our tools as portable as possible, just because of maintaining our square footage and our ability to build larger units in this space. And so on this movable tool unit, we have a drill press, a fan saw, and 2 stationary sanders with some tool storage underneath. And while our shop primarily focuses on wood fabrication, we do have tools for metal fabrication as well, like this abrasive saw, a portaband, a welding station, primarily using what the general industry would call decorative steel, like 1.5" square box tube, 1.5" Schedule 40 pipe, this kind of stuff. We find ourselves extremely fortunate to have the amount of tooling that we do have here at TheatreSquared. But keep in mind, if you and your friends come up with this really cool piece of storytelling, a brand new show that you want to put on display for other people, a lot of times all you need to put on a show is a screw gun, a circ saw, a bottle of glue, and a handful of materials just to get something up. It also super helps to have your painter friends nearby. My name is Alex Worthington. If any of you have any questions about how our facility operates, how we handle certain metal fabrication projects, wood fabrication projects, please reach out to TheatreSquared and we'll make more videos like this. We're always happy to reach out and answer any kind of questions you have.